Now we're going to deal with the least common multiple with the birthday cake method. This will look pretty familiar if you just watch the video on the greatest common factor, but with a twist. So let's look here. So if we have two numbers here, let's say that they're 24 and, 30. And we are trying to figure out the least common multiple of each of them. We're still doing the birthday cake thing, so let's see here. What we're doing is we're trying to figure out what number goes into both 24 and 30. Well, 3 goes into both of them, because 3 times 8 equals 24, and 3 times 10 equals 30. And are we done yet? Is there any number other than 1 that goes into both 8 and 10? Yeah, well, 2 does. So let's divide 2 into 8 and we get 4, and 2 into 10 and we get 5. Okay, so what we were talking about before is this idea that the greatest common factor is going to be these two numbers, 6. That's the greatest common factor for 24 and 30, but we're not looking for the greatest common factor. What instead we're looking for the least common multiple. So what we have to do that is we have to multiply all these numbers together. And so let's look at what that is. That's 3 times 2 times 4 times 5. 3 times 2, that's 6 times 4 is going to be 24 times 5 is 120. So that's going to be the least common multiple. The reason why that works is that basically, 5 times 24 is equal to 120. And 4 times 30 is equal to 120 also. So that is accurate. So let's try another one here. Let's say instead we have the numbers 300 and, let's say 20, let's say 26. Okay, so again, birthday cake model. What number goes into both those? Well, 2 goes into both of them. When we do that, we end up with 150 and 13. Now at that point, I actually know if I remember this in terms of factors. 13 is a prime number, and 13 does not go into 150, so therefore I know I'm actually done. Because nothing divides into 13 except for 13 and 1. So if I want to figure out the greatest common factor of these two, then it's just 2. But I'm not doing that. I'm figuring out the least common multiple. So it's actually going to be 2 times 150 times 13, which is actually going to be 2 times 150 is going to be 300 times 13, which I don't even know right off the bat myself. So this is going to be 900. And then I have the 0 there, and then this is going to be 300 there. So my final answer is going to be 3,900. And that is what the least common multiple of those two numbers is. It's going to be 3,900. It's a pretty big number. But that makes sense because they only share one factor, and that's 2. So it would be a pretty big number. One trick thing here, just to make sure it's clear. If we have something like this, 20 and 40, what's the least common multiple of these two numbers? You might get right off the bat that the actual answer is going to be 40, but let's see birthday cake model-wise. We know 2 goes into both, so it's going to be 10 and 20. We know that, we know 2 goes into those again, so 5 and it's going to be 10. We know 5 goes into both those, so it's going to be 1 and then 2. So we still multiply all these together. When we do that, we end up with 2 times 2, so that's 4, times 5, that's 20, times 1, so that's still 20, times 2, so that's going to be 40. So 40 is going to be my least common multiple, even though it is up there already. So that makes sense because 40 divides into 40 once, and 20 divides into 40 twice. So we are done.